And a swing and a drive. High and deep into left field and way back and gone. Oh, my goodness. Off the stick of Whitney into the glass. Scooped up by Hemsky, and he's hammered. And it's caught. It's caught.
Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of The Wrap Up. I'm your host, Nick Buckler. With me, as always, sports blogger Dan Myers. Dan, as always, thanks for coming back.
Thanks for having me.
We got a lot to talk about today. We're going to start with the Detroit Tigers, who are playing like the minor league team of the city of Detroit right now. They had a West Coast swing this week, and it was horrible. They scored 2 runs in their first series against Oakland. They didn't put up many hits, and it was just horrible, and it carried on into Anaheim when they played the Angels.
Yeah, it was very frantic to watch. We were talking last week about, maybe this West Coast trip could definitely light a spark. Just forget about, the negatives that have been going on as of late. Unfortunately, it did the complete opposite, and it's a pretty scary time to be a Tigers fan right now.
It really is, and well, let's start right into that series in Oakland. They ended up winning 2 out of 3 games in that, but they lost the first one 4-0. Shane Green, he was pitching good until his one bad inning. It was the 6th inning. He gave up 4 runs, and that was all Oakland would need. The Tigers only had 4 hits, and they were playing without their best player, Miguel Cabrera, in that game. He was getting the day off with an ankle injury. They had almost a minor league lineup in, it felt like, with Dixon Machado at shortstop, Hernan Perez, who's hitting .063, and Andrew Romine all in the game because Iglesias was still nursing the sore knee, and Cabrera was out with the sore ankle.
Yeah, it's reminiscent of the Red Wings as of the past couple of years. But I'm glad that they actually took the liberties of taking Miguel out of the game. It seemed for a while that they weren't really worried about his injuries, and they kept pushing him to go harder and harder, and he was doing a great job. But we don't want to risk, especially our hot bat right now. We don't want to risk anything with him. So I'm glad Ausmus took him out and let him rest.
Yeah, I don't know.
That might be the bright note of it.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I agree. He really, it's just, I don't know. Yes, it was a surgically repaired ankle, but I'm not so sure. You have to have your best player in unless he can't play. I don't think the injury was severe enough to keep him out of the lineup. However, look what happened to Victor Martinez. They're saying he could be out until after the All-Star break now with his knee injury and maybe his back on that swing in Pittsburgh still bothering him from the left side. It's been a struggle early for these players to stay healthy. JD's been dealing with injury. Iglesias has been dealing with injury. Miguel Cabrera apparently now has an injury. Obviously, we know about Verlander and Rondon dealing with injuries as well. And then losing Alfredo Simon to a bereavement with his dad not doing well. Mm-hmm. So he missed an outing. Buck Farmer had to start.
Yep.
As well as Wilson actually had to make an emergency start in the 3rd game against Oakland. And he pitched well. Kyle Ryan was brought on to, in fact, start the game. He wouldn't make it in time, so they give Alex Wilson the starting duties. He goes 3 perfect innings en route to a win. However, Kyle Ryan would get the win in that game. He goes 3 innings, only gives up 1 run. And Joakim Soria picks up a save. And hey, the Tigers had 9 hits. Woohoo! Their biggest hit total of the series. That comes after a 1-0 win in which they had 6 hits. David Price gets the win in going 7 innings in the 2nd game of that series, and Joakim Soria gets a 4-out save. He's been a very bright spot in that Tigers bullpen. That curveball is pretty much the filthiest thing I've ever seen, other than my bedroom. But that aside, it's been a bright spot, really.
Yeah, and maybe that's what we're going to have to start doing with all these reoccurring injuries that our players are having. Maybe we're going to have to just start bringing up the farm system and just going back and forth. If they're healthy for a couple of weeks, we'll keep those guys in. But if not, just bring up the farm system, let them get some experience, and maybe that's the way to handle it. Right now, it's just my hands are up in the air. I don't know what to do. If I was Brad Ausmus, I definitely wouldn't want to be in his spot right now.
I'm to the point where I almost think it's funny when the Tigers lose because they've been so bad. Last night I got out of my hockey game and we got the update on our phone. Oh, Tigers lose. Again. Oh,
Yeah.
It's a joke. It's a joke, Dan. It's a joke that this team, there's so many cards on the deck that need to be, shuffled, I guess you could say, to get something going, jumpstart the offense, re-spark these starting pitchers. And apparently Verlander's getting close. Did you hear about his outing in AAA Toledo on, was it Sunday or Saturday? I think it was Saturday.
Yep.
Yeah, he went 2 2/3 innings, threw 79 pitches, 6 walks, gives up 3 runs, and says, I felt great. You felt great. You looked horrible, JV. I'm not looking forward to his return. He needs at least 3 more, 4 more starts. Maybe more. Is he ever coming back, Dan?
Do we want him back?
No.
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 It's gotten to the point now where
Panic in baseball town. Panic.
you know I've tried to be as optimistic as possible, especially these past few weeks with Justin. You go on social media and you read a headline like that, Verlander made good rehab, started in Toledo Day, and then you actually read the article. Who's writing this? Who's excited about this anymore? I'm one of the most optimistic people, that you probably know. And for me to be rocked that Verlander is doing so bad, I don't know. What do?
I think he's writing moves. This. He's got to be writing his own pieces.
That could be it.
Because there's no one with a sane mind that thinks he's good right now. You need to go to the courts. You need to get a doctor and to declare you insane. Is that opinionated? I'm sure it is. But it's factual. Come on. I'm going to go back to that Wednesday game in Oakland. I can't handle the JV talk anymore. My blood pressure's through the roof. Cespedes gets a home run after Cabrera's intentionally walked to face Cespedes. And he goes yard against his former club, and I'm sure that's got to feel great for him.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Especially with the frustration and all that negativity that's been going on. Maybe you just get that little glance of hope right there. Maybe I was hoping that might start something. Fortunately, it didn't.
Yeah, you're right. Let's go over to L.A., where they played the Angels of Anaheim. Buck Farmer on the hill for the first game on that Thursday night. 7 earned runs, 5 innings pitched, takes the loss. Tigers lose 12-2 by 10. In Little League, they call that a mercy. In Major Leagues, they call that an embarrassment. And, hey, their offense woke up. 5 hits. Come on, offense. Wally Joyner, hitting coach. See ya. I would fire him tomorrow. Yesterday. Last month. I'm going to be their new hitting coach. Sign me up. Where do I sign? I just inked my contract. I'm the new Tigers hitting coach. No, I'm getting carried away now, but all right, Friday. There's another game to play. Tigers Angels. Oh, Anibal. He's going to right the ship. Hey, he actually didn't pitch bad. He goes, 7 innings. He struck out 9, only gave up 2 earned runs. But hey, guess how many hits the offense had? 1, 2, 3. Tell me when to stop. At 4. 4 hits. They lose 2-0. When you're only giving up 2 runs, you got to win the game. With this offense, Cabrera, Kinsler, J.D. Martinez, Nick Castellanos, Yoenis Cespedes. McCann's been swinging a good bat. Iglesias is leading the league in average. Goes has been a pleasant surprise. They can't put it all together, and it's heartbreaking. I'm wearing my heart on my sleeve, as you can see. I'm fired up. I'm going to have to take some medication after the show to calm myself down. But hey, when you're tied into a football team, baseball team, see, I don't even know what sport I'm talking about. I'm so riled up. It's just horrible. Hey, they exploded for 13 hits on Saturday. Lost 8-6. Shane Green, guess how many innings he went? Tell me when to stop. 1, 2, oh, not even 2. An inning and 2/3. He gives up 7 runs. But hey, Kinsler finally got his first home run of the year. Good for him in the 9th inning. When guess what? It didn't matter. And hey, Cespedes hit another home run. He's actually been a bright spot in the organization right now. He's hitting .284 with power. It's good to see. He's got one of the best arms in the game. But hey, it's a team game. When the rest of the troops aren't putting up, it's hard for your team to win the war,
Absolutely.
It's crazy. I'm sorry, I'm not letting you talk right now. I'm just, hey, share.
I want to go back to Friday's game real quick. It was the bottom of the 4th, and I believe I sent you a text message saying, "Are you still watching this?" And
yes.
It was,
I was not watching.
At that time, it was, there was no score, but you just had the feeling that, they had bases loaded. They almost walked a guy in. You had that error. It's getting frustrating.
The whole team is an error.
Yes, it's getting frustrating, and they need to turn this around. I would love to see a chart of how long people actually watch the games for. Because we're big fans. We love the Tigers. But
Not so much
how do you
anymore.
continue to watch when
don't.
stuff like this
I
is
turned it
going
off.
on?
I do.
You did. You got back to me real quick, and you said, no, I'm already watching such and such. So
I was watching the back of my eyelids. I could care less now. About
I think they were doing the same
I'm
thing.
frustrated, my friend.
Yeah.
Anyone
yeah,
have a stress ball? Need to let out some stress? You know, it's bad. It's real bad. And Sunday, game of the week. And David Price returns to the mound where the team has won his last 6 outings. He may have not gotten the win in those, but they have. So, hey, the stopper's here. David Price, our savior. He doesn't pitch bad. He does give up 4 runs, 7 2/3. He goes deep into the game. But when your team gets 5 hits, it's hard to win. They put up 2 runs, which, oh, joy. They're on the scoreboard. They get a 4-game sweep at the hands of the 500 LA Angels of Anaheim. This road trip could not have ended any faster for the Tigers. They return home. They get a much-needed off day today. They need to go to Barrymore's and hit the cages. They don't need their professional batting cage. I'd take it away from them. You're going to Barrymore's. You're going to pay for your own tokens, and you're going to go into the 70-mile-an-hour cage and be afraid of the ball and close your eyes when you're swinging. Hey, you might do better than you're doing right now, Detroit Tigers.
Yeah. Yeah, and for some reason, just being in Anaheim hasn't been great. These
For
past
any
40
team.
Yeah.
Red Wings?
Yeah.
Any other
The
teams?
Ducks?
The Ducks, yeah, they lose.
We can get into that in a little bit, but
Will we?
maybe we won't.
I don't want to even talk about that.
Okay, it's been a tough sports weekend, but for the past 4 years they've had 13 games there and they've only won 2. So
And I just found a stat today, John Butchergross on ESPN. The Tigers have lost 7 straight games in LA, Angel Town, Anaheim, and they've lost 17 of their last 20 there. That's just grotesque.
it's not
When you're a World Series favorite,
Yep.
not anymore. You got to be able to win anywhere. And carry it on.
I've got nothing to add. You've said it all.
Well, let's read the notes here. In all caps, it says, "Wake up, offense. Set your alarm. You need to wake up. And whatever time you need to. The game starts at 7:08 on Tuesday. You better be there, and you better get 5 runs in the first inning, or guess what? You're not going to win the game." I forgot my baseball bat and glove. I was going to give a hitting lesson to the Detroit Tigers because they need something. They really do.
Yeah.
Even a blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while. You can hit a golf ball into the Grand Canyon even if you're blind. The Tigers are playing worse than either of those 2 scenarios right now. It's bad. It's real bad. Ian Kinsler, ice cold. He's like 3 for his last 1,000. Carry it on again.
Yeah, it's frustrating, but hopefully, being at home, we might be able to put something together, get the fans on the team, literally, and that
Sign him.
Maybe
Sign him.
I'll
Johnny
buy-
in 335. Oh, guess where you're going? You're playing left field today.
We saw you mashing at Barrymore's. Maybe you should come down here and start mashing, for a paycheck.
Oh,
with that.
Javier, guess what? You're at third tonight.
There you go.
Big Jim's catching. Could it be any worse?
What do you have to do to get the team started? I mean, I know they're hurt. I know
You fire someone.
you have to make a statement, and that's exactly
Fire
what they have
Wally
to do.
Joyner.
That it could start there, and it can move on from there. But you definitely have to make a statement. Something's got to turn these guys around because you can't have this, especially with them being so promising at the beginning of the season, them showing so much potential. This is just uncalled for.
Correct. SOS. Save our ship. Save our team. SOT. It's horrible right now. And I think it's time to change the topic of conversation. And, hey, let's talk about the Grand Rapids Griffins.
Something promising. There we go.
They're in the Western Conference Finals. They just dropped 2 of 3 games at home. They now trail the series 3-2 to the Utica Comets, where a lot of the Red Wings prospects are playing. Teemu Pulkkinen, Dylan Larkin scored again yesterday. And most of all, the coach Jeff Blashill, who is very much expected to be the new coach of the Detroit Red Wings. He met with Ken Holland last week, and after the meeting, Ken Holland said, "We're going to wait to name our head coach till Grand Rapids is eliminated from the playoffs." And then you go see Danny Bilesma get hired in Buffalo. You see DeBoer get hired in San Jose. McClellan hired in Edmonton. and someone else just named a head coach that the Red Wings were looking at. But anyways, with that aside, everyone's off the table now except Jeff Blashill, and I think it's going to be a great hire if, in fact, they do go that way. As I've said before, I'm sure everyone knows that now. But I listened to just a couple of his interviews, and his voice really sounds like Mike Babcock, and I think that might be a good thing to have the players hear that familiar voice, and it's going to be good.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's a real test of character and test of what he's made of. He's got all these distractions going on right now with the Babcock situation, with him potentially being the next Red Wings coach, and he's still in a playoff series. And I think that's fantastic. Granted, they're down 3-2, but for him to carry the team like they are and to just keep on keeping on, as some might say, it's a great character evaluation, and I think he's very promising now too. And I'm excited to see where this is going. I said it a couple of times. This is gonna be a very fun training camp to watch this year. Granted, it's still months away, but this is the first time I've actually been really excited to see a Red Wings training camp.
It really will be exciting. I might have to make the hike up to Traverse City, and it'll be fun. The young talent in the organization is off the charts. Teemu Pulkkinen scored, I believe, 15 goals in the postseason, and Dylan Larkin's looking like he's doing good. A guy that they really need to get going, though, is their high-touted draft pick from a few years ago, Anthony Mantha. He hasn't really put up the offensive numbers he was doing in the QMJHL. It's just really, it's kind of frustrating to see. I know Jim Devellano called him out a couple weeks ago, said he's been a disappointment, and Mantha actually answered the bell and said, I know I've been a disappointment. Hopefully in the playoffs I can turn it around and have a good training camp and maybe make the team as a third liner next year, just to kind of give the team some depth and get himself going. But I would still like to see the team land some free agents, get some more veteran leadership, guys who've been there, done that. And there's some good free agents on the market this year. Guys on the point like Mike Green, Zuccarello I think is going to be a free agent. He just had some tragic news come his way.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to look at him right quick, but we'll see.
Yeah, right. But he just has a skull fracture, and he lost ability to talk and movement of his arms, but he's still expected to be ready for training camp, which is unreal to me.
Yeah, that's incredible. Another thing, this weekend I was over at a card show at Gibraltar Trade Center, and first of all, I was told that the upcoming rookies this season is so promising that they're actually marking up sports cards, the hockey cards this year. They're actually going to be going up at least another $10 because there's so much promise with this upcoming rookie season, or rookies coming into the season. There's a lot of talk about the Grand Rapids team. Everyone's very excited. They're super excited about Jeff Blashill coming. There's a lot of potential coming up, and that's when was the last time we really had this much excitement about a young team? Not just in Detroit, but in any sports. Professional sports organization. It's been a while, so this should be very, very interesting. Check out.
It really should, and in my lifetime, I don't remember at least a Red Wings team that's been young and unproven, because we had the team with 2002. That team didn't win a Stanley Cup. Might as well fold the franchise. They had Brett Hull, Luc Robitaille, Steve Yzerman, Brendan Shanahan, Sergei Fedorov, Nick Lidstrom. The list goes on. Dominic Hasek. That's like a Hall of Fame team.
We've always had those all-stars, and I think that was the scary part when we were rebuilding, the past couple of years. We didn't have those all-stars to look to, and the all-stars that were available didn't want to come here. So, Ken Holland and, the nucleus up there, the organization, they had to go down a different road, and that's what they're doing, and they were smart about it. And that's why this franchise has been so successful, is because they've, moved and made changes, that some may be unorthodox, some haven't, some are. But I think that's why this team's still so successful and still on the top of the map as far as.
Exactly. And one prospect I really look at is, he's in Grand Rapids right now. He wears number 23. It's Andreas Athanasiou, and he's really a complete package kind of player. And he's big, he has size, he's physical, and he's got some of the best dekes. Google him. Some of his dekes are just off the charts. He's a complete player. He just needs more seasoning, and he's been good in previous preseasons that he's been up with the Red Wings. And I think a couple of years, this guy's going to be a big scorer and a power guy in the NHL, much of like a Todd Bertuzzi when he was younger and before his criminal side came out, but we won't touch on that. He's a little bit smaller than Bert. However, I think he's going to be a bright spot if he does not get traded.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Tomas Nosek is a guy that is right there with them. Another one of the European greats that, who knows, he could be a big spot.
Absolutely, yeah. There's plenty of potential for this team. And like I said, training camp, we're going to see it. Maybe we'll do a location shoot. We'll see. It's a terrific organization, and I'm really excited. I'm very proud to be, to have them in our town and call them our favorite hockey team.
It really is. And another thing that happened this weekend was the Belle Isle Grand Prix. The IndyCar racers came in, and it's always a fun weekend. A lot of media goes there. A lot of fans go there. And racing's not a big thing, at least I don't think so in our town. But everyone unites, goes across to Belle Isle, and really sees the evolution of Belle Isle and what they've cleaned it up and made it really a great vacation spot, even if you're just trying to get away for the day. Go enjoy the park over there. And the race is a great time always. Carlos Munoz wins that race. Marco Andretti, American, gets second place. Another couple notables, sixth place, Helio Castroneves, and 10th was Juan Pablo Montoya. But it's just a great weekend for any friends, family, wife, kids, grandkids, grandparents. Just a day out. It's a great time.
It's fun, family-friendly, and, it's just something unique that you don't normally see in a big city. And to have, a city like Detroit who's had let's face it, more downs than ups, it's a great event for them to host.
It really is. And for years to come, it's going to be a good one. It's always going to be packed. And I'm looking forward to it again next year already. 363 days away. A couple last notes I want to get to is the Michigan Wolverine World. Their women are playing for a College World Series this week, and good luck to them. The men, however, were eliminated in the first round of the College World Series to the Louisville Cardinals, but a great season as they win the Big Ten tournament in Minneapolis.
Yep. Yeah, that's been incredibly fun to watch. I heard it was compared to, it's like a pinball machine. You got all these moving parts in this small contained box, and it was just, it's great to watch. It's very entertaining, and the best of luck to them.
It really is, and the women are, that's been fun to watch. And normally I don't get too much into softball, but it's been really exciting. Their chants they do in the dugout, and just the way that they can whip that ball from that angle, it's just nuts, and it's going to be exciting to see if they can pull it out.
Yeah, best of luck to them. That's great.
Yep, well, I think that just about does it for this episode of the wrap-up. Hopefully next week, positive vibes for the Tigers this week, leading into our show next week. My heart needs you to win some games. For Dan Myers, I'm your host, Nick Buckler. Thanks for watching.